working for you. This is Wave 3 News at 11.
New here tonight, a fight at a bar has two Jeffersonville police officers in hot water. Good evening, I'm Scott Reynolds. Janelle is off tonight. The Jeffersonville mayor and its police chief are asking Indiana State Police to investigate. Wave 3's Connie Leonard joining us live now from the newsroom. And Connie, what are these officers accused of doing?
Scott, the two officers who were off duty at the time are accused of beating up a man inside the Lighthouse Lounge because he tripped and spilled a drink on them. Tonight, I talked to that man who says he has no idea why he was attacked like that.
Everybody was just watching in shock.
It all went down the day after Thanksgiving inside well-known Jeffersonville pub, the Lighthouse Restaurant and Lounge. This man, who asked us not to identify him for fear of retaliation, says he and two buddies were hanging out there when he accidentally had a run-in with two off-duty Jeffersonville police officers.
I guess I bumped into their table and spilled their drink, and he got up and got in my face, and next thing you know, he throws me to the ground, and he's holding me down, and then I look up, and some dude's just pounding me in my face.
The man says he exchanged words with the officers after they yelled at him for bumping the table, but he had no idea they would get so upset.
I was like, what's going on? This is crazy. I had a black eye, my busted lip. I mean, my arm still hurts today.
A woman inside the bar tells Wave 3 News the man who was beaten is a regular customer who doesn't cause problems. She says some employees were surprised that the two men beating the man were off-duty officers. She says they were also surprised after calling 911, Jeffersonville police arrived, and then it was all over. The man tells us he was never interviewed about the attack. He is now relieved the police chief and the mayor have asked Indiana State Police to investigate.
Means a lot. Something needs to be done to these cops.
What do you think should happen now to these officers?
I think justice should be served. Some cops think that they're bad because they got the badge and they can do whatever they want, and it's not right.
Now, of course, Scott, this is only one side of the story. We wanted to get the officer's side, but the city spokesman tells us because there's a request for an investigation, the police chief, the officers, and the mayor can't talk about it right now. Back to you.
Thanks, Connie. A violent attack caught on camera at a Kentuckiana gas station. A 56-year-old woman was walking to her car at the BP gas station on East Spring Street in New Albany. This was Wednesday afternoon. Investigators say that man came up behind her, took her wallet, and then, as you see, he throws her down to the ground. Fortunately, that woman was not seriously hurt. Anyone with information about this attack, if you can identify this suspect in this robbery, you're asked to call the New Albany Police Anonymous tip line, 812-948-NAPD. 3 people are charged with luring a gas station clerk away from his job because they claimed they needed help, then attacking him, tying him up, and stuffing him in the trunk of a car near Taylorsville Road and the Snyder. This happened in September. Just released video, though, showing Officer Fred Wilson walking up to that car once they stopped it, talking to the driver, and then walking back before another officer heard the 22-year-old Sean Blomer in the trunk. The officers got Brittany Elder, Trent Bly, and Joseph Davis out of that vehicle before opening the truck and finding Blomer crouched down. That's when they put down their guns and helped him out.
Being in the trunk and I had a towel around my face, so it was really hot. I'd passed out a couple times.
Police say the 3 in the car kidnapped Blomer from his job as a clerk at the Circle K just a few miles down the road from where they were stopped. All 3, though, have different stories about what happened that night. Regardless, all 3 of them are charged with wanton endangerment, complicity to kidnapping, and robbery. Well, people affected by the train derailment and explosion off Dixie Highway met tonight. The residents of West Point have filed a class action lawsuit against the railroad company. Tonight they discussed how much it cost them to be evacuated from their homes. They have been reimbursed for hotel rooms, food, and gas, but some are still worried about the long-term impact, such as Peggy Thompson. She was selling 2 properties near the site and had the ink almost dry on one when the October 29th crash happened.
When it's someone else's fault, it's their fault. I didn't do it. I wasn't driving the train. I didn't fix the tracks. It wasn't my fault. But me losing a sale was their fault. So that's just the way I feel about it. I think they owe me.
There are a lot of people who have problems. They're not being dealt with, and so we're offering ourselves to help.
The train cars caught fire last month. They were carrying hazardous chemicals at the time. If you live in the 5-mile radius affected and you're having problems, you can go to our website, wave3.com, for more information. Well, 4 area football teams made it all the way to the state finals. 3 championship games were today. There's 3 more tomorrow going on in Bowling Green. Our sports director, Kent Taylor, here with highlights from what happened today. Kent?
Well, Scott Central is getting used to playing in the 3A title game. The Yellow Jackets made it to the final for the 5th time in the last 6 years. And when they get there, they usually win. For the 4th time, Ty Scroggins' team facing Belfry in the championship game. The Jackets got on the board first on this 28-yard touchdown run by Darius Cox, but this one went to overtime, tied at 6 in the OT after the Central D got a stop. Their offense ended it. Sidney Tetford to Marcel Malone, the 16-yard touchdown to win it. Another state championship for the Yellow Jackets, the final 12-6 in OT. That trophy heading to Jefferson County for the 5th time in 6 years.
It's overwhelming, and I'm just so happy that I can help my teammates, and we just won another state championship.
Collins, by the way, took on perennial power Highlands in the 4A final tonight. Highlights of that one, plus, of course, 6A final tomorrow night. Trinity and PRP meet. And then Kendrick Haskins is going to join us live from Bowling Green. That is all coming up in a few minutes at Sports.
All right, thanks, Kent. An Indiana man is facing charges tonight for trying to meet up with a teenager in Clark County. The prosecutor telling us 32-year-old Ryan Roberts was arrested for soliciting a child. Parents caught their daughter trying to sneak out a window. They later discovered she was going to meet a man who found her on Facebook. We're told that girl is between the age of 14 and 16. The woman accused of killing her grandmother and dumping her remains in the garbage could face the death penalty. The Commonwealth filing aggravating circumstances in Ellen Crawley's case. This means they are pursuing the death penalty. Police say Crawley killed Mary McLean during a fight in McLean's Louisville home back in August. Crawley goes back to court in February. A man survives a gunshot wound after police say he tried to rob a home in Louisville's Parkland neighborhood. Officers were called to a house at 28th and Greenwood after 11 o'clock last night. When they arrived, police found a man who'd been shot. He was rushed to University Hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Police say someone who lives in that home shot the man after he broke in, and the homeowner is not facing any charges. A criminal case is now resolved against a former Jefferson County constable, but his legal woes aren't over just yet. David Whitlock is now on probation. A judge will decide whether Whitlock will have to pay restitution. There's a hearing for that December 19th. Whitlock, you might remember, admitted there's enough evidence to convict him for shooting Tammy Ortiz in a PRP Walmart parking lot. Ortiz claims $3,000 worth of damage to her vehicle. Whitlock had said she was trying to run him over. For now, the criminal case is closed as long as he doesn't violate probation. Well, this time of the year can be really hard on families who have just lost loved ones. And a ceremony was held tonight by the organization Supporting Heroes. They gathered in Jefferson Square to honor police officers, firefighters, and EMS workers who died in the line of duty. The goal of that ceremony is to give messages of support to those who are having a most difficult time during a season of firsts. The first Thanksgiving, first Christmas, maybe the first New Year without someone very special. Well, a toddler is found wandering the streets with no shoes on, temperatures below freezing, and now police want answers. Police said a Good Samaritan found the 2-year-old foster child near a high school in Corbin, Kentucky, and called 911. Investigators say that child was found wearing very little clothing.
But I believe it was like pajama bottoms and a shirt, and I believe that was it.
After the child was found, she went back to her foster home. Social Services now investigating. An Indiana teenager facing felony charges after allegedly stabbing his roommate because that roommate ate Thanksgiving leftovers from the teen's grandmother. 18-year-old Taz J. Miller was formally charged Thursday with battery with a deadly weapon, criminal recklessness too. Winchester police were called to Miller's home Sunday after he allegedly confronted one of his roommates for eating that plate of food, stabbing him in the arm and leg before trying to strangle him. Miller was being held at the Randolph County Jail on a $10,000 bond. Well, we now know the name of a man killed in an accident in downtown Louisville last night. The coroner's office says 49-year-old Jim O'Brien of Nelson County died when he slammed a truck into a tree at First and Jacob Streets. Police say O'Brien was headed south on First, lost control of his Chevy Silverado. He then hit a tree on the median near the ramp to I-65. The coroner says he suffered some sort of medical event to cause that accident. Engines overheating and catching fire, that's the reason for a recall of thousands of Ford vehicles. Ford is recalling more than 89,000 2013 Escape SUVs with a 1.6-liter engine, Fusion sedans as well because of that engine problem. Ford says it's working on a fix, and it's asking owners to call their dealers. They'll loan them another car at no charge until the problem is solved. The company says it has reports of 12 fires in Escapes and 1 in a Fusion, but so far no injuries reported. Well, coming up, hundreds stand in line tonight to see a Grammy-winning artist at a Louisville mall. Why was he here? And it seems like the talk never ends. Can the city of Louisville support an NBA franchise?
Well, it's 46 degrees now in Louisville. We'll drop a few more degrees, but we got a nice warm-up on the way just in time for the weekend. And how about those rain chances? I've got an update for you coming up.
Working for you. This is Wave 3 News at 11.
Rapper Lil Wayne creating quite a stir when he stopped by Jefferson Mall today to greet fans and promote his new clothing line at Dillard's. Wave 3's Katie Bauer was there, and Katie, you got a chance to speak with him and I guess buy some of that clothing.
I don't know about that, but yeah, he says he was so excited to see his fans as hundreds packed Dillard's, hoping to get a picture and an autograph of the Grammy Award winner. It was not your everyday crowd Friday night at Jefferson Mall.
We get to see him like right there, like just a feet away from him. Like it's closer than if you were at a concert, you know.
Lil Wayne did not disappoint when he stopped by Dillard's to promote his new clothing line, Truck Fit, and meet and greet his fans.
I love Lil Wayne. My daddy loves Lil Wayne. I love his clothing wear, and I want to get to see him today.
When we asked him what he thought of being in the Bluegrass, he couldn't help but bring up basketball.
Yeah, I'm kind of upset that Kentucky lost against Notre Dame the other day.
Lil Wayne was originally supposed to be here back in October, but had to cancel after he reportedly had a seizure.
Glad to be back.
Awesome to be back. Glad to be here. Sorry I missed it the first time, but I'm glad to be alive and then glad to be here.
300 super fans were invited to a VIP party because they bought $150 worth of the contemporary streetwear. One of those VIPs, Cody Suttle, who traveled all the way from Lubbock, Texas.
I've liked Wayne for years, and I don't know, I told myself if I ever had a chance to meet him, I'd do it.
After spending $500 on Lil Wayne's clothing line, he was one of 20 people who got to meet the Grammy Award-winning rap star.
Well, I'm gonna see if he'll write his autograph on my body, and I'll get it tattooed tomorrow, but I don't know if he'll be into that. That's kind of weird, so we'll see if he goes for it.
And when he got his chance, Lil Wayne didn't seem to mind at all, just thankful for all his fans.
Oh, thank every single one of them. I ain't nothing without them. They know that, though.
And Lil Wayne recently passed Elvis Presley as the male with the most entries on the Billboard Hot 100 chart with 109 songs. Working for you, Katie Bauer, Wave 3 News.
Wow, what a turnout. Thanks, Katie. Another musician announced, well, he's going to be coming to town. Kid Rock will perform at the KFC Yum Center on March 2nd as part of his Rebel Soul Tour. Two other acts, Buckcherry and Hellbound to Glory, will also perform there. Tickets for that Louisville show start at $35 and go up to $89, and they go on sale Friday, December 21st. There's a Christmas gift for you, 10 o'clock in the morning on the 21st. The KFC Yum Center was the center of conversation tonight at Bearnose by the Bridge in downtown Louisville. A group called Bring the NBA to Louisville gathered to discuss the possibilities, the obstacles, and realities of an NBA team eventually playing at the KFC Yum Center. We spoke with a U of L student who says he thinks a pro team would really help the university and the city.
When you have a team that would be successful and going here, you would have a lot more people just look at the city, and in turn, when you're looking for college and you're thinking about places to go, there are a lot of people who would know about the city and in turn look at the University of Louisville.
After that discussion, the group watched the 1975 ABA championship game between the Kentucky Colonels and the Indiana Pacers. Wow, a breaking news story goes completely wrong after a plane went down in Chicago Friday. But it wasn't the breaking news one TV station thought it was.
We got a plane crash, 29th and King Drive.
Let's go to Skycam. Skycam is cutting in and out, but it's supposedly in the middle of the road on the south side there at 29th and King. Bear with us. Look at this.
Let's see if we can take a... We're having signal trouble, so bear with us as we try to get this.
We don't know. It obviously is looked like a small single-engine aircraft there, but you could see
well,
one wing
the
was knocked
anchors
off.
at Chicago station WGN broke into programming on reports of a plane crash on a downtown street. Little did they know, the scene was straight from a taping of the hit NBC show Chicago Fire. Here's a look at the scene that you will see in an upcoming episode of Chicago Fire. Now, anchors for the station eventually had to recant that information. Chicago Fire can be seen Wednesday nights right here on Wave 3. Fooled.
Whoops.
Wow.
I guess they made it look so real.
Apparently they're not quite checking with the police department on that one. You need to make that call, and then they would have probably just said, we're just doing a little filming here, guys, security, and wow. Ooh, that had to hurt. Somebody got in trouble.
I'd say so, yeah. Anyway, a lot of folks
you know, if they'd had snow coming down out there for one of the scenes, you wouldn't have gone on and said the first snowfall of the season, would have you?
It's a blizzard, right?
Yeah, it's a blizzard right in downtown Chicago.
Hey, speaking of snow, we launched our latest SkyTrack cam today.
Where is it?
Up in Paoli Peaks.
Nice.
So we're waiting for some man-made snow up there.
A little warm for that right now.
Yeah, for now, and it's going to stay warm through the weekend. But eventually, you know, we get into December, January, February, the months we call winter. Eventually, they will be seeing the snowfall. In the meantime, out in California, it was far from winter-like weather. Look at this. It's a land spout. You say, well, what's the difference? Well, it's kind of like a water spout. It's mainly surface-driven. It doesn't have a big cumulonimbus cloud that we typically think of with severe weather around here, but from the ground up. But wow. Caused some gusty winds there. You can see it move right across the road. So impressive sight. By the way, it was the first tornado, because it is considered a tornado, recorded in Inyo County, California, since tornado records have been kept. Well, I'll show you what's going on around the area with temperatures. We have been cooling down. You'll notice mainly clear sky across portions of the area. That's allowing the temperatures to drop on off. We'll start out looking at temperatures from across our viewing area, and you'll notice the 40s to our north and south. One lone 30 showing up, and that's Seymour at 39 degrees. Satellite and radar view pointing out what's going on across the area. We've had a few of these clouds spill back into the area, stayed mainly clear for a good chunk of the evening, and now, well, we have the partly cloudy sky that we thought we would have throughout the overnight hours tonight. Our stats for November stack up like this. Our warmest temperature, 74 on the 10th, the coldest, 24 on the 24th. We picked up less than an inch of rain, so below normal on the rainfall at 3/4 of an inch, and no snow for the month of November. From our SkyTrack cams across the area, from Bardstown to Corydon and places in between, we've seen beautiful shots. This is another camera here that we launched looking over toward Churchill Downs. A beautiful shot there in the south part of the city. For us here in Louisville and downtown, we have a partly cloudy sky. That temperature is running at 46 degrees. Winds out of the south and southeast today help to push us above normal. 59 our high. 45 our low this morning. We're close to that now. We'll drop a couple more degrees, but not too far with the clouds we have around. Look at Paducah holding on to the 50s, and St. Louis as well. Most of us seeing a few of these high clouds now push back into the area, and with that, we'll wind up with a partly cloudy sky overnight. The rain continues back out to the west. We've mentioned that over the last day or so. They've had a tremendous amount of rain back to the west. For us, our rain chances will actually go up a bit. There's a small chance on Sunday and a better chance of rain by next Tuesday. Here's the deal for tonight. Mainly clear sky becoming partly cloudy, as we've already seen. And then during the day tomorrow, a mostly cloudy sky as clouds continue to increase across the area. But with southerly winds, we stay warm. Sunday, some spotty showers across the area will be with us, and we'll have to dodge a couple of raindrops. All in all, not too bad. Our overnight low tonight, 44, not as cold as it has been. And during the day tomorrow, our high reaches 64. We're at 66 with that 30% rain chance on Sunday. Higher rain chance by next Tuesday, and then we'll cool it off a little bit. 70 on Monday.
Oh, going to be beautiful.
Yeah, you know, he'll be golfing.
He will be. Cards fans, though, tonight might have been watching a game they normally wouldn't watch.
Well, they want to see where would it be the Sugar Bowl or the Orange Bowl? A lot of them would rather go to the Orange Bowl. Yeah. Well, coming up, I'm going to update the Cards Bowl situation, including highlights from that game that could be a major factor. Plus, we are going to head to Bowling Green, where Kendrick Haskins joins us live with more on Central State Title. The state championship games are back in Bowling Green tomorrow night at 8. Trinity and PRP meet for the 6A title. Central seems like they're there every year, and so is our Kendrick Haskins. He joins us live from Bowling Green. Kendrick?
That's right, Kent. You know, last year Central and Belfry met in the state championship, and it was a classic. Central's Taj Milliken hit Cornelius Bennett for a late touchdown in the fourth quarter to give the Jackets a 15-14 win. Tonight, another classic. The Yellow Jackets looking for their third straight state title. They would crack the scoreboard first. Running back Darius Cox takes the handoff and runs 28 yards into your living room. PAT failed, 6-0 Central. Belfry would tie it at 6 in the second quarter, and the score stayed that way in the second half, forcing overtime. In overtime, the Central defense held the Pirates scoreless, and on second down, Jackets QB Sidney Tedford hits Marcel Malone in the end zone. Central wins in overtime, 12-6.
I just had my chance. My best friend is Tayshawn Gibbs, and it's so unfortunate that he got hurt. But when they told me that I had to go in, I just stepped up, and I've just been doing my job ever since.
It's the best record that we've had since we've been here, and we don't have any big name players. We have individuals that just want to be part of Central football and do the things to help us win football games.
And Kent, Coach Scroggins says this is the best team he's had because they didn't have any star players. They were a team. You know, tomorrow night, the big boys take the field as PRP and Trinity meet for the 6A state championship. From the Western Kentucky campus, Kendrick Haskins, Wave 3 Sports. Kent.
Thank you, Kendrick. All right, in the 4A final tonight in Bowling Green, Collins, in just his third year as a school, taking on perennial power Fort Thomas Highlands, and this one was all Bluebirds. They led it 33-0 at the half. Highlands wins it 47-0. It is their record 22nd state title. Trinity can match that tomorrow night. As Kendrick said, the Rocks take on PRP, that one at 8 o'clock. Okay, Big East champion U of L is headed to a BCS Bowl, but which one? Kent State with a chance to get into the BCS with a win tonight over Northern Illinois in the MAC championship game in OT. Kent facing a 4th and 8 in OT number 2. And the Huskies get the pick. Northern Illinois wins it 44-37, so it looks like the Cards are headed to the Orange Bowl.
I mean, personally, I'd like to go to Miami. I think 70 degrees sounds pretty good to me. And, I'd like to play against an ACC opponent, too, just for the future of the program, just to see, how we stack up right now.
Still ahead, U of L and UK hoops. Plus, where was Charlie Strong tonight? I'll tell you next. The NCAA Volleyball Final Four comes to the KFC Yum Center December 13th and 15th. U of L trying to keep the dream alive of getting to that Final Four. Tonight with Charlie Strong and his family in the building. Cards taking on Michigan in a second-round match. This one was intense. The Wolverines won the first and third sets, and in the fourth, they battled to a 27-25 win. U of L's season ends at 30-4.
I'm heartbroken for this loss because you want that for your team so bad, and they've worked so hard. But I'm so proud of the season. So, it's a good night for volleyball.
That volleyball court being taken up tonight. Basketball back in the arena tomorrow. The number 5 Cards host 5-1 Illinois State, and it will be start number 2 for sophomore Zach Price. He and Stephen Van Treese have spent the week making the adjustment after Gorgie Zhang went down with that broken wrist.
Just being able to go without a sub now, Gorgie's gone, so, me and Van Treese, we have no sub, so, we just have to go at each other for as long as we can, for as hard as we can.
Number 8 UK tries to avoid its first 2-game losing streak since February of 2011 when the Cats host Baylor tomorrow. They are coming off of Thursday night 64-50 loss at Notre Dame. That was just the second double-digit defeat in John Calipari's 3+ seasons in Lexington.
There are a lot of things we talked about as a staff that we start practicing again what we're going to do. But that's not now. I mean, right now we got a game tomorrow afternoon against a good opponent.
Now for Kent's highlight of the night, one more look at the play that landed Central another state title. Sidney Tedford to Marcel Malone for the game winner, and they are both just juniors. It is Central's 5th state title in the last 6 years. What an amazing job that Ty Scroggins has done there with the Yellow Jackets. By the way, Indiana beat North Carolina tonight in the soccer Elite 8. They're headed to the Final Four. U of L will play at Maryland tomorrow to try and join the Hoosiers in Hoover, Alabama.
Highly ranked Terrapins.
Yeah, it'll be a tough one. They lost early, first game of the season, but
we'll
they've got experience there.
We'll be back in just a moment. We've got a gorgeous weekend Kevin's going to be out putting up the Christmas lights.
Right over at your house, right?
Yes, I hope so.
We're in the 60s for the weekend, 70 on Monday. Kent's going to be inside watching all the basketball, I guess.
I'll be working, actually. UK introduces their new football coach on Sunday.
That's awesome, and we hope you have a great weekend.
Good night.